Welcome to the Carlos Whittaker podcast. If you're watching on YouTube or Spotify or wherever it is you watch your podcasts, you will see that I'm not in my studio, which I rarely am these days, but I'm actually in La Quinta in the desert of Southern California. I'm currently on tour down here and I'm doing some speaking every night, having a good time. Heather is out here with me. But I wanted, you don't need to know anything. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll see all that stuff. Let me tell you what I'm excited about today. This podcast is different from really any other podcast. I may have done this one other time that I've done before. And that is because I today am on a podcast and they are on my podcast at the same time. What does that even mean? So I met Greer at The Unfinished Idea. And Greer's a mom of two. She lives in England. And what I love about their family is that they navigate pretty much in public, the joys and challenges of raising a neurodivergent child with special education needs. And I actually have some friends of ours, multiple friends, but some friends specifically in England that also are raising a neurodivergent child. And we have been able to be in life and community with them. And so what I loved about this conversation is I was able to learn some things about how I can even help more with our friends Alice and Ben, but also I was able to maybe lean into some of the things that I've learned already by being in relationship and in community with a family similar to this. And so Greer is so gracious in allowing me to ask her questions that, to be quite frank, I have never asked before. And so, to be in a safe place where you're able to ask questions without fear of being looked at or frowned upon or looked at, with a scolding look on their face because you said something that could have disappointed them. It was just such a safe place. So listen, Carlos Whittaker podcast family, today you're going to learn a lot. I promise you, you have a friend that is either neurodivergent or has a child that is, and this podcast is going to equip you, challenge you, but also educate you on ways that you can continue to support them and love them. So without further ado, here is my conversation with my brand new friend and soon to be your new friend, Greer. Check it out.
Okay, Carlos, we're doing something special today, aren't we?
We are. We are doing something very special.
So I don't know if I've actually done this before where we've had, I've been on someone else, the same episode, so it's on the same feed is what I'm trying to say.
It's like the Matrix, basically. It's like, wait a second, you're on your podcast, but you're also on my podcast, but it's at the same time. So yeah, there's all sorts of weird things happening right now.
Yeah. I love it. To me, I love this kind of stuff because of my ADHD brain. I'm like, yes, let's change up the status quo. Let's, do different is what I like to say.
No, I love it too. I actually have done this one time before with somebody else. And this is perfect for your ADHD brain, though, that there's a dog barking at the same time. My dog may come down the stairs at the same. There's all kinds of stuff happening around us constantly. And, I think it makes it fun, and I think I'm always up for an adventure, as you know. So.
Yes, we have two mottos in our house. Be ready at all times because you never know when adventure will happen. And the second one is that we can do hard things.
Yes. I love those two mottos. I'm about to go write those on my mirror. That's good.
Go for it. You can steal them. I think I've definitely stole them from someone else. So
sure.
Totally okay.
That's the case in 2025.
Yeah. Basically, yeah. Okay. So I do have one question because you are a very well-published author. You speak around the world. You have just a joy. I don't know. You may not feel this, but it comes across as very just joyful for people. You love people.
Yeah.
And you talk a lot about kind of walking with people rather than standing on issues because
yes,
being neurodivergent, raising a neurodivergent child, let's just say I feel different and I have experienced that. And so, yeah, how have you seen this approach kind of build real bridges and help people feel not so much on the outside?
Yeah, I may not have a lot of, and we were talking about this before we hit record, I may not have ever been in a conversation specifically on a podcast about neurodivergent kids or parents or parenting or whatever it looks like. But I do know, just even from the few podcast episodes that I've listened to from you, is that sometimes you don't feel seen. And you know exactly what it feels to not feel seen. And, I know exactly what it feels like to not feel seen, which is why I think I really try to see people that don't look like me, live like me, think like me, behave like me, all the things like me. Um, Gosh, because I just have seen that has been the the bridge that people have been desperate to either walk over themselves or be walked over by somebody, walked over to by somebody else. So I do have my phrase, "Don't stand on issues, walk with people." And I think the reason why that hits so well in 2025 or the last 10 years or so is because, again, so many people want to stand. They want to be known for what they believe in, and I actually stand up for a lot of things. I have a lot of opinions, but what I won't do is let that standing keep me from walking alongside people that I don't understand, walking alongside people that may look at the world differently than me. And so I think for some people, they may see that and think, "Oh, Carlos is bending and he's bowing to the whatever," and I'm like, "No, I just love walking alongside people that aren't like me." And so, I say that a lot. That's really easy to say. I've got a t-shirt with it on. People love to wear the t-shirt. It is so hard to do. It is actually really difficult to walk with people that don't look like you, think like you, vote like you, believe like you, all the things like you. Now, we're speaking in a, I want to say in a maybe not so hot topic on the uh, kind of mass of society, right? Like right now, the hot topics have nothing to do with neurodivergency and have everything to do with politics and political issues and hot topics. But it's a very real issue for you. It's a very real issue for you living every single day and actually having people that will look at you and walk with you, not look at you with pity, not look at you with whatever you may feel. Why don't you answer my question? And I'm going to throw the same one back at you. What has it been like, maybe, to raise a parent the way you do, you exist the way you do, and maybe have people not walk alongside you in the way that you would like? And then maybe what's it like when people have walked
Hmm.
alongside you in the way that feels humanizing?
Yeah. So I always say I've had to throw out the book of parenting, because
Yeah.
it doesn't work for us. And that realization that I'm going to parent different and the world
Uh-huh.
is going to judge me. So I just need to kind of get over that.
Yeah, I love it.
Easier said than done. Don't get me wrong. But I mean, I think the hardest thing in parenting differently, because my child's brain is different, my brain is different, my husband's brain is different. Um, we have 4 different brain types in our house. It's
Okay.
beautiful chaos. But because of that, I mean, the people who haven't walked alongside me are the ones who've made the comments, who have some people have walked out of our lives. Maybe not intentionally. There was no necessarily conversation saying,
Sure.
"Peace out, I can't do this," or, "I don't get you," or whatever, but they've just kind of faded out. They stopped calling or texting or
Mm.
hanging out or,
Mhm.
whatever it is. Um, and I think that's the thing that I struggle with a little bit is,
Yeah.
yeah, there's a big saying in the neurodivergent world of, particularly when you're raising a neurodivergent child is, your village is really small, often just a handful of people, a handful being 5. That idea, and
Yeah.
that's because, I go to the shop. This happened a couple weeks ago, with my best friend. She is our son's godmother. We've been best friends for 10 years. Like, she's journeyed life with us.
Yeah.
And our son, we went to the grocery store just to get a few things, and he had a meltdown.
Uh-huh.
And I would have said it wasn't that bad. um,
Sure.
for her, she was a little overwhelmed because she was like, "What is going on? What's happening?"
Yeah.
Um, and we were walking out, and she said, "Did you not notice all the people staring at you as you sat with your child on the floor rocking him?" And I said, not really, because that's just our life. Like, that's And she was like, wow, I don't know if I could handle that all the time.
Wow.
Um,
Wow.
and it was another reminder of just, I kind of forgot people stare at us when we go to the store
Yeah.
because I've just gotten blind to it. And so, yeah, I think things like that is hard. That's hard.
Yeah.
And that kind of second part of your question of people who have walked with us. So thinking again of my best friend, she, so the story of being in the grocery store and having meltdown, she said, hey, I'm going to just leave you, not because I don't want to be with you, but I know the best thing for me to help is to go get the rest of the groceries. Give me your list. Like just that kind of,
So good.
people who are like, I don't know exactly what you're going through, but either I'm going to educate myself so I can know a little bit better, or two, I'm going to go do what I do know I can do. The amount of people who've come and done my laundry, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Like,
Wow.
because not that I don't know how to do it, but that is something that is just when other things are happening, laundry is the last thing I do. Laundry and dishes are the two
Absolutely.
things.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, no.
Those are the things you're just like, I'm punting. Like that's it.
Yeah.
Kicking them to the curb. Yeah.
Yeah. And so having those people who come alongside you who are going to help you physically, kind of physically, emotionally, spiritually, and just have that ear. I think, again, they don't have to know the ins and outs of what raising a neurodivergent child is like, but just having someone that I can just send, I call them rage texts, or rage like voice messages to people when something's gone wrong, or,
Yes.
and they'll just reply and go, yeah, that sounds like that sucks. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm
Wow.
like, thank you.
Wow.
Because that's just, I mean, ultimately anyone wants that. Like, it's not just
Yes.
neurodivergent people, but I
Right.
feel like neurodivergent families just need it a little bit more because of what they're going through, because of the fight that they have to go through.
So good. When I started selling things online, it literally seemed like I had to figure everything out on my own, right? Like the filming, logos, all of that stuff. But then more even complicated than that was like the tech stuff. Like I had to build 5 different websites or learn how to code this certain web language in order to sell one single thing. Guess what? You don't have to do that anymore. Why? Well, because we've got Shopify. Shopify has its own design studio built in. They've got people that can help you with marketing questions built in. You can accelerate your content creation because they even have AI tools that write product descriptions for you. And best yet, Shopify is your commerce expert because they have world-class expertise in every single facet of building your site. So listen, turn your big idea into money with Shopify on your side. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/Carlos. Go to shopify.com/Carlos. Shopify.com/Carlos. Typical children's vitamins are basically candy in disguise, filled with not 1, but 2 teaspoons of sugar, unhealthy chemicals, and other gummy additives that your growing kids should never eat. That's why Hiya was created, a super-powered chewable vitamin. So while so many kids' vitamins are filled with all sorts of stuff you don't want your kids to eat, Hiya fills in the most common gaps in modern kids' vitamins and their diets to provide the full body nourishment our kids need with that good old taste that they love. Formulated with the help of pediatricians and nutritional experts, Hiya is pressed with a blend of 12 organic fruits and veggies and then supercharged with 15 essential vitamins and minerals. Now listen, I know some of you may be tired of battling with your kids to eat their greens. Well, Hiya now has Kids Daily Greens Plus Superfoods. It's a chocolate-flavored greens powder designed specifically for kids, packed with 55 plus whole food ingredients to support brain power, development, digestion. All you gotta do is scoop that bad boy up, shake it up, and sip it with milk or any non-dairy beverage for a delicious and nutritious boost your kids will actually enjoy. We've worked out a special deal with Hiya for their best-selling children's vitamin. Receive 50% off your first order. To claim this deal, you got to go to hiyahealth.com/humanhope. This deal is not available on their regular website. go to HIYAHEALTH.com/human hope and get your kids the full body nourishment they need to grow into healthy adults. You know, I listening to this, think to myself, okay, this is so good. What would you say as a neurodivergent parent, parenting a neurodivergent child, would the person that's listening, so I obviously, like, this is the first time I've even talked about this on my show. So there's people listening that are like, wow, like, okay, what would be helpful if I was in the grocery store and I saw Greer sitting on the floor with her child, rocking her child back and forth. Is there anything I could do for Greer in that moment? Or is it just walking by Greer without looking? Like what would Greer say to the person that actually is not your best friend, but the person that is standing to the side?
So there's two things I would say. One, if you feel comfortable saying, hey, I'm going to be at the other end of the aisle. If you need me, just shout. I've done that for another parent who, I don't know if their child's neurodivergent or not. It's a total stranger,
Yeah.
but they were having a moment and I just said, hey, I'm going to be down the other aisle for a little bit. If you need me, shout. And she didn't. And,
Yeah.
I just stood there for 30 seconds and could kind of just see like, yeah, things are kind of calming. It's fine. But knowing someone else is there if I needed more help, because sometimes meltdowns can be actually quite violent,
Yeah.
depending on the child. And so, if my child started, he's never done this, but, or in a shop, but, if he started throwing things on the ground, like I would want help in that situation,
Sure.
so that just having someone there who can, not in the situation, but just if I needed it, I could shout and they could go get a store person or they could, whatever was needed. The other thing I say is if you don't feel comfortable saying that, which I recognize some people wouldn't feel comfortable saying that or asking that, is just smiling with compassion at them.
Mm.
And just, if you, I don't want to say completely ignore them, but, just saying, just those eyes, like the things we can say with our eyes, it's amazing, right? I mean, good and bad. And just, with your eyes, with your smile, just saying like, hey, I see you. We all, again, we all want to be seen and heard.
Yes.
And so just taking that moment to say, hey, I see you. Like, this moment sucks. This is horrible. I
Yeah.
don't really know what's going on, but I see you doing your
Yeah.
best. Because
Yes.
any parent in meltdown mode is doing their best.
Is doing their best.
Like,
Totally.
no matter what is happening around, no matter what chaos is happening, like, they are doing their best because that's what, as parents, that's what we do for all our kids is we protect them and want to do our best in loving and serving them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even if it looks chaotic, just know the parent is doing their best.
Absolutely. No, I love that. I love that. And it's so, again, those are so simple. Those are, they're simple, but they are hard, right? Especially they're hard if somebody's never done that, or, even the eye contact may be difficult for you, but I promise you not as difficult as what the parent's going through. So,
Yeah.
give
Yeah.
it to them. No, it's so good. Thanks for answering that.
Yeah. The worst thing is like making a comment, like, don't do that. Don't, unless it's an encouraging comment, but like, I mean, the amount of times I've had people say, oh, that's such a lazy parent, which I'm like,
Oh my gosh.
oh, please. Like, can we just take that away? Or that child's spoiled. There's times where I just want to say, if you only knew.
Yes.
If you only knew how much I fight for this child, to get the education he needs, to get dressed, to, all these things. If you only knew.
Well, and if you only knew, we actually have in London, we were just there a few weeks ago with some friends that have two neurodivergent children, and we were having Thai food, like Uber Eats at their home. And there's one thing I know my wife has a superpower in. It is seeing people, like really like people think I do. No, I get it from her. And the conversation we got into is, exactly what you're talking about. Like the amount of like all of the energy of both the mom and the dad are being poured 24/7 into creating a thriving environment for their family. Well, thriving for that family is not going to look like thriving for another family. And so they get, they're like, well, we just get judged because screens are actually for us, like they provide respite. And parents are judging us because my child is on a screen at a thing and they think that, and again, people don't know the full story and they don't know that. Wow, that's actually a breath that the entire family, the other kids involved in the family, everyone needed that hour of screen time at the restaurants for, again, if we could just all take a step outside of what we consider normal and look, upon other families as like, they're doing the best they can for their family, right?
Yep, exactly that. And that idea that, I mean, again, this doesn't necessarily have to be just neurodivergent families, but any family, what works for one may not work for the other. Like what
Yep.
works for your family may not work for my family because
Totally.
I have kids that are 6 and 3 and you don't have 3 and 6-year-olds. Like, so of course, like everything is going to be different. And again, I think about there's seasons for everything and how, there's seasons where we walk through, I live, living in England, it's dark at like 3:00,
Yeah.
like I'm not going to have force my kids after school to go play outside. Whereas in the summer, it doesn't get dark till like 11 p.m. So I'm like outside and it's raining. I don't care. Like this is, this is where you're going to get your vitamin D. So yeah, I just think there's seasons for things, both literally and figuratively, and what works for you. So do what works for you.
Certainly.
And yeah, just go for it.
Love it. I love it.
What about community? Okay, so I talk a lot about building your community. As I've mentioned, when you raise an autistic child, your community can be quite small.
Yeah.
But I don't know, you've built a good community. So kind of through that, what have you learned about creating those spaces where everyone can feel included?
I think you have to be purposeful in every. I feel like every time again, the community I've built is on Instagram, quote unquote, and every post I make, every comment I leave, every DM I respond to, I view it as transaction, honestly, like, especially when it comes to online. So like, am I either giving or am I taking? And I think the way that I have built the community that I've built is I try to 90% of my time. Now, listen, I do this full time, right? I'm an author, I'm a speaker, I sell books, I sell courses. So there will be times where I am where the transaction is going to be, I'm going to offer you something where you can buy it. But I try that for 90% of what I do, for it to be the person on the other end receiving something from me. And I feel like, especially in online spaces, whether it be podcast communities, whether it be whatever it is, people are going to want to be part of a community where they feel like they're receiving. And so I try to keep in mind that the wide gamut of humans that are part of my Insta Familia, the wide gamut of worldviews, of faith worldviews, political worldviews, all of the things, while maintaining the integrity of what I believe. When it comes to, I don't think anybody that follows me doesn't probably know what I believe about a lot of things, but even if they don't believe those things, they feel welcome. They feel included. It's very inclusive, and so I just think that it's so important for people. Now some people may not. Some people may want to just build echo chamber, kind of communities, which is fine. But for me, I think why what's worked for me has worked is because I've tried to be as inclusive as possible, with how I speak to the people that I speak to. Again, if I just had like a golf Instagram channel, I would just have golfers there, right? I wouldn't have, other. So like, there's communities that are going to be about what they're about, but that still doesn't mean that even in those focused communities that it can't be super inclusive for people that maybe have different opinions than you do. So yeah, I've tried to do that. I think a lot of the hard work people don't see. I think a lot of the people that I've had a lot of people with very public, accounts or profiles that have vehemently disagreed with me, even online, come to me in a DM and they're raging at me with their thumbs and they're coming at me. And what I do, I think this is also helpful, and this could be something people do, is I'll take my phone, and instead of using my thumbs to reply to them, I'll open the camera and I'll hit record and I'll start talking. Hey, before I start, I just wanted you to see me for a second. Like, I just want you to hear my voice and see my eyes. I just want to, and I start there, right? And so I will record a response on a video back to someone that's like angry at me. I'm telling you, Greer, 9 times out of 10, that what that does is not only diffuse the situation, but it creates a stronger community, because suddenly someone's like, okay, this guy may have driven me crazy, but I'm in. I'm in with you. I trust you. And so, yeah, I just think it's important that we begin to view how we interact with people in online spaces as transactions that you're either giving. What are you giving to them? What are you taking from them? And just try to give more than you're taking.
Yeah. So total side note, but you shared that video. I don't know if trick is the right word. I don't know, whatever. A while ago. So I followed you for a long time.
Oh, wow.
And you shared it a couple years ago, and it stuck with me. So when I started my
Really?
Instagram account, I said I made a commitment. I was gonna respond to people who were like that with a video. And I won't lie, I don't get like crazy amount of like
Sure.
rage messages or comments, but
Right.
the few
Right.
that I have gotten, I've done that, and it's been really interesting to open up the discussion and to,
Yes.
because I mean, and some of them aren't rage. I've had people message being like, "Oh, your child should detox. Here's some herbal thing," and I just send back a voice note or a video saying like, "Hey, like, thanks for thinking of that, but this is not where I stand. Therefore, this is, kind of
Uh-huh.
just sharing that." And it's opened up so many conversations in my DMs. And just ongoing conversations, like things that I've learned from them, they've learned from me, just different things and it has
It's the
felt
way.
like a community. So thank you for that tip.
Well, no, I love that. I love that you've, that you have done that. And again, there is that 1 out of 10, right? I said 9 out of 10 where it doesn't go well.
Yeah.
You know? Or it's me. Yeah, where I'm like, like 9, maybe 9 times out of 10 I'm Mr. Rogers, but then one time I'm the opposite, whatever the opposite of Mr. Rogers is, because I'm human. And that comes out. And I can only imagine that in the neurodivergent community, that within that ecosystem of the people that you're dealing with, there's radically different views on how to parent and how to do all those things. So I can only assume that those are the conversations that do occur.
Yeah, a lot of that and a lot of like curing autism or ADHD.
Oh, sure, yeah.
It's really interesting. This is again total side note, but it's always curing autism, never ADHD. ADHD isn't a curable thing. It's just autism, which I don't believe that's true. I do believe it's how our brains are wired and how we're created.
Mhm.
But yeah, those are interesting conversations when you have someone
I
who's
bet.
very adamant that
Right.
it's curable, or caused by fill in the blank.
Oh my god. I mean, yeah, I think, it just, when our daughter was in the hospital and she had this severe lung disease and histoplasmosis, and just the amount of, and I know it's the kindness in people, and they really want to help, but because I didn't rub eucalyptus oil on her throat, I'm just like, that would have done it, and I'm like, oh, it was the essential oil,
Yeah.
so I get it. No, I get it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's things like that. I'm like, "Okay, cool, thanks." Like,
Totally.
okay. But yeah, it's I just laugh sometimes what other people say, but yeah, that's a whole nother topic of
Sure, that
what
is
people
that's a
say,
that's a whole other conversation.
yeah, I was like, we can be here for a while, but okay, so I think the world in general, a lot of people live in kind of that state of fear, overwhelm, but particularly neurodivergent people do. I know that was one thing. So part of my story is I was diagnosed with anxiety for several years. Um, and it was not until my son was going through the ADHD process or diagnosis process that was like, yeah, my anxiety isn't just anxiety, it's ADHD. So one thing that I've talked about in my story of realizing I had anxiety, then ADHD is hope. And not every time in every conversation, but ultimately, my hope is from Jesus. But I really believe that we can have hope, and that's something that you also have talked about. Um, but how can people who are living the daily challenges, who are living in the overwhelm, who are living with anxiety, who are living with all of that, kind of tap into hope without feeling like they have to be fixed first?
Did you know 3 out of 4 U.S. homes have toxic chemicals in their tap water? Like, even though contaminated water looks clear, it could put you at risk for devastating health concerns, including fatigue, hormone disruption. I ain't got time for no hormone disruption, cognitive decline, even cancer. Now listen, what is the solution? It's AquaTrue. AquaTrue is the countertop water purifier tested and certified to remove 84 contaminants. 84. Not 83, but 84. Okay? It is a patented 4-stage reverse osmosis system, and it goes way beyond your ordinary filters. AquaTrue has been featured in Business Insider, Popular Science, and named Best Countertop Water Filter by Good Housekeeping and by Carlos and Heather Whittaker, because there's one sitting on my countertop in my kitchen right now. So listen, join 98% of customers who say their drinking water is cleaner, safer, and healthier. Go to AquaTrue.com now for 20% off your purifier using promo code HUMANHOPE. AquaTrue even comes with a 30-day money-back best taste in water guarantee. That's AquaTrue.com, AquaTru.com, promo code HUMANHOPE. Yeah, gosh, I think the whole fixed the whole fixed thing is, I try to remind people, like, especially, again, if you have a worldview, a biblical worldview with kind of Jesus at the center of it. Okay, I know not all my followers or even podcast listeners, probably actually not a lot of them, have that, but they know that I do. And for me, in that, like, I know that I'm never going to be fixed. There's not going to be a space or a state where I am completely healed, quote unquote, whatever that looks like for people or what they desire, kind of on this side of heaven or whatever it is that you believe. And so knowing that we're broken people, we live in a broken society. I think when I start there, knowing that society isn't ever going to be fixed and that we aren't ever going to be fixed, if we just start there, it's like, okay, well, that's depressing, Carlos. Like, give me the good news. Well, the good news, I believe, is that, man, there is like a never ending opportunity for healing to happen, right? So like I say this all the time. I'm never going to be healed, but I'm always going to be healing. And so it's like, sweet, like today, what is the little bit of healing that I can do, whether it be in my soul, in my mind, in my body? I do have a little bit of control in what I do to step towards a little bit of healing today. The little bit of healing will never be completely healed, but I can put a Band-Aid on a cut and it's going to heal a little bit faster. And so, what I could put some Neosporin. I don't want DMs telling me how bad Neosporin is. I'm sure there's a whole subculture out there telling you that. I'm sure, but
yeah.
What I'm saying is that, I want people to know that there is healing available. And I think more and more people, more and more conversations like this are important, because I think what it does is it allows people to go, like a way that I can, if I run into Greer and she's at a grocery store and she's sitting on the ground with her child, I can provide her a little bit of healing and maybe me a little bit of healing by saying, hey, I'm going to be down the aisle if you need anything. And what that does for you in that moment of pain and in the moment of trauma is like, oh, but there's a little something that got healed in your heart. Going like, oh, there's somebody else out there that sees me, right? And so like, we can do that for ourselves. We can do that for other people. I was just this is perfect, actually. I was just in the Salt Lake City airport coming home from, or maybe flying to Jackson, Wyoming last week. And I walked by a room I'd never seen before. And it was a room, I wish I could remember the name of it, but it was like, it was a room where basically there was no sound. Like it was a room that I guess I've made this up in my head, and I can ask you now, but it was a room, I think, for people. Oh, it was like sensory something room where, tell me.
Yep. It's just called a sensory room or a calming space.
Yes, where I was like, holy cow, wait a second. You're telling me they have a almost like a safe room in this terminal that is filled with the most chaos and noises and smells and people. And if someone is having a panic attack or somebody needs calm, they can step into this room. I didn't go in the room because you have to call a little number and then they unlock it for you. But you can go in this room and you can take some breaths and you can maybe get back what you need. And so this is what I thought to myself. That there is some healing. There is some progress that's happening. The fact that this airport has this here, that, somebody worked hard enough to make that space available. And so I guess, I use that example as like, listen, healing is always it's never going to be perfect. We're never going to be fixed, but healing is always happening. And I think that's hopeful, right?
Yeah. I like that idea that, like healing isn't one thing. I think about, I am pro counseling. I talk about it all the time. I had a great childhood. My mom is my best friend. My parents and I are still close, even though we are thousands of miles away. Like, I had a great childhood, but I still go to counseling because the world is broken.
Yes.
The world is messed up. Like, and I still need healing from life.
Yes.
And just the idea that it doesn't have to be counseling. Like you said, it can be physical, it could be putting a Band-Aid on, or it could be going for a walk or whatever that is for you. And that's such a great reminder of, just one step of healing.
I love that. No, I do. I think that everybody can do one thing to bring a little bit of healing today, knowing that you're not ever going to be fully healed. And also, like, I don't know. Maybe I don't even want to get into this, but I'm like, I sometimes think like, well, what if some of these things are God's gift? I can think about some things in my life that, I would love to be, to not have this be a part of my life. But then I also think, man, that's been so hard. And I never would have gotten to the place that I'm at now had this not been in my life, for me. And so, a lot of times I just think like, am I trying to maybe sometimes pray something away that I shouldn't be, that I actually should be thanking God for? Again, that's a bigger conversation, but I just think, I go back to full healing will never happen on this side, but being fully healed will never happen on this side, but small steps of healing can happen.
Yeah, I like that. I'm going to write that on my mirror.
All right, there you go.
I will say, so you mentioned the sensory calm space in airports. That's becoming more of a thing, which we are very grateful for. Depending on the airport, depending on the space, depends on what it looks like. Some are amazing.
Sure.
There's whole like sensory lights and quiet rooms. So the biggest thing I always say to parents or anyone traveling who goes into that space, they don't do announcements. So make sure you know what time it is, because they don't do announcements in there. So you could miss your flight.
Yeah. Good.
But it's great. And I'm glad that you clocked it. That's exciting because they are sometimes tucked away in a far, far away land.
Sure. Yeah.
But it's amazing that they're doing that as well.
That's pretty cool.
Something for us, like, so we travel to the US a lot. So another thing that some places in the US know, some places don't, but in Europe it's very popular, is the sunflower lanyard. So it's a lanyard that just lets people know that there are some invisible disabilities in the group. So, and it's very popular in airports particularly, because going through an airport, so going from checking in, dropping off your bags, going through security, finding your gate, is overwhelmed for people. Like, for people in general, I mean, I imagine, like, I know people who are neurotypical who find it very stressful. Now, like, times that by 10 for a neurodivergent person, because it's louder. They're having to do a lot of transitions. They're having to get to places and all the things. And so we've used that room quite a few times in London. Because I could just see my child was starting to get overwhelmed. And for him, getting overwhelmed is going crazy wild. So screaming, running away, playing hide and seek when you're trying to, navigate to your thing, like all of that. And so, using that room is a lifesaver.
So good.
It's so good. So
I'm so glad I saw it.
I was like, it's open to anyone. You don't have to be neurodivergent to use it, but it's the idea in mind.
That's cool.
But yeah, so
Love it.
yeah, I'm glad you found it. Feel free to look
Yeah.
for other ones and, let people know.
There is one definitely in the Delta Terminal at Salt Lake City Airport, right in the middle. So if
Perfect.
you're traveling through, you know it's there.
That's perfect. Okay, one question I love to ask everyone on my
Yeah.
podcast is, what do you want the world to know about neurodiverse people?
Mm. And you told me you were going to ask me this question before the podcast, and I didn't have an answer because I have never had this conversation before. I think now what I want people to know about neurodivergent people is that they really, really, really would love to be seen by you in some way. And so what's a way that you can see them? It doesn't have to be in a moment of panic. You can see them when things are not panicked. And probably it would be even more beneficial if you saw them in times that are not panicked. And so I promise you, because I think I heard on one of your podcasts, I can't remember what the statistics or the data is on how many people are neurodivergent.
Yeah, 1 in 7.
Well, okay, so I guarantee everyone knows more than 7 people. So that means you know somebody. And so yeah, see them. That's the one thing from this conversation that I'm going to do. I'm actually going to text my buddy back in London right now and be like, hey, I just need to let you know again today that I see you and I'm proud of you and you're crushing it and keep going, And so that's what I'm going to do. So for my listeners and even your listeners, go see somebody today.
And like you said, seeing someone can be sending a text to say, hey, I'm proud of you. Because I can guarantee you that your friend, I don't even know who your friend is, but that your friend has probably second guessed themselves 10 times today.
Yeah.
Has probably maybe not sat on the kitchen floor, but gotten close to sitting on the kitchen floor and just being like, what am I doing with my life?
Totally.
And to have someone say, hey, you know what? Yeah, I see you. I'm proud of you. What I'm trying to say is it's a deeper impact than I think you will fully know.
Yes.
But know that there will be a big and deep impact that will kind of ripple effect. So
on them, the amount of times just having dinner with people that we love in London, and I think I counted like 5 I'm sorries about something, and they were just living in this constant state of I'm so sorry, and it's like wait, stop, no, you don't have to be sorry, please. You don't apologize to your husband or each other in the state of whatever your life looks like. Just let us be here with you. Let us exist here with you, And so I know what you're saying is so true,
Yeah. Yeah. Fun note, just to end on, well.
Yes.
I'm ending it. That sounds mean.
Yes.
Is so in our house, we don't do dinner together. We start together. And this is something that I think any family just rethink your dinner policies. Policy seems like a big word, but you know what I mean? Structures, whatever. And it, again, you don't have to do it for just neurodivergent families, but rethink is eating together serving your family. And for some families, it's not. For our family, it was not serving us. It was so stressful to try and get everyone to the table, for everyone to sit at the table, for people to eat, to not get overwhelmed. My child cannot sit down. Like he sits for 5 minutes and then he needs to go run because he has ADHD and he needs to run. And so we have 5 minutes together.
Love
and then
it.
After that, my son will run. He'll jump. He'll, like all the things. And
wow.
And then he'll come back. He'll eat some more for another 5 or so minutes, and then he'll do it again. And it works for us. And it means that I get to connect with my kids still, and my husband may be interrupted. It may be, every 5 minutes, but, we still get to connect and we still get to have family time together, but it's not forcing them to sit the whole time. So
good. I love that.
Top tip for anyone listening is rethink your dinner. So.
I love it. Nope. So good. I appreciate it. This has been so fun, Greer.
Yeah, it's been fun. Thanks for doing this, for, being on mine. I'm on yours all at the same time.
Yes. We appreciate the matrix happening for all of our listeners.
Yes.
And so thanks for being on my podcast too.
Yeah. Thank you. What
did I say? It was such a great conversation. am grateful for her authenticity, which leads to vulnerability for me even. When someone else becomes safe, you feel like you can become safe as well. And so that's what happened. And I'm so grateful. So, hey, listen, please go follow Greer. We'll have her Instagram and website and all the things on the show notes, but also please subscribe to the Unfinished Idea podcast. Share it with your neurodivergent parents, friends, whatever it is, because it is an incredible resource as well. Okay. Well, we're big time into Christmas season here, and I can't wait to get home at the beginning of next week, so I can fix all my inflatables in my front yard and we can continue on. And I also want to let you guys know, thank you. I don't say it enough. Thank you for listening to the Carlos Whittaker podcast. We've been on this train for years, and some of you are new, but most of you have been here a long time. And so I just appreciate you listening because, not only does this help support what I do, but it just helps support my heart, my ethos, knowing that people care about some of these things that I care about in longer form means a lot. All right. Talk soon.